Now, yesterday, I made a couple of mistakes.
Only a couple?
Now be nice. Yeah. When I was talking about this paint over here, I said this. Okay, I'm hoping now that we are not going to need our number 66 or our number 22. This was the 66, this was the 22, because if we do... And what I had meant to say was, this was the 66, and this was the 22. Now, the other mistake I made, well, it wasn't really a serious mistake. It was sort of an oversight on my part. And that is that when I was mixing up, when I was lightening the green, I had forgotten that I'd already done something like that months ago, and I had added a drop of yellow to it, or maybe it was more than one drop, and consequently we ended up with a much more vibrant green. And if I had remembered to do that, well, yeah, it might have been a little bit more green. Anyway, let's see if we can get some of this painted here. Our little weather vane and our spinner rounder. Well, I've had a little accident here. It's nothing serious. It could have been a lot worse, I guess. You remember when I made this, way back when we were doing the Bismarck. And the idea is so that I can take, there's a little nut here. I'll move you in a minute so that you can see what's happening. But there's a little nut here, and what I'll do is I'll put it so that it's right on the center there where this thing rotates on the turntable. And then I can bring it, as long as I don't move anything, that is, I can raise the nut up, and then I can bring it down, and I can center whatever it is that we want to rotate, and get it right underneath the nut. And then I know that when I move this back and forth, while I'm videoing, it's going to stay more or less centered. Now, what happened was, well, I'll move you in. Okay, what I had not noticed was that one of the arms of the, I think it's called the anemometer, had gotten caught in the nut here. And when I lifted the nut up, it pulled it off. So now we got to try and glue that back on. You know, it's not a huge thing, and I can do it. It's just that, you know, it's just another silly mistake. So that's what, 3 mistakes? These things go in 3. Or is it 3 per episode? As you can see, I went ahead and I did it off camera. And it only took about 15 minutes or so altogether. So we're back to where we was. Okay, I'm guessing about half an hour has passed now since we glued that back on with our CA thin. And what I've got here is the NATO black, and it's already been thinned out. I put a T on there, so that must mean I thinned it out. I must have used it in the airbrush for something, but I don't know what. And where's my other glasses? Oh my goodness, look what I did. I couldn't see what I was doing. Okay, give me a minute, I gotta clean this up. No, I am not deliberately being stupid here. I don't know what I was thinking. I shoved the paintbrush in almost to the handle. I went in about 3/4 of an inch into the paint. I think it was a case of I was only really seeing it with one eye, and my depth perception was off. Anyway, yeah, what's this, mistake number 4 now? Now the idea is just to make this contrast. I don't want to paint the pedestal. I'll leave the pedestal the number 22. No, I don't want to be working this in too much, because what's going to happen is it will start to dissolve the 22, and the black will start to lighten, if you know what I mean. Now, we're going to do the weather vane just to the left there. Let's just take a quick look here. Okay, maybe you'll be able to see the weather vane if I put my finger in behind it here. Very, very carefully now. Now, you knew this was coming, didn't you? Just had to put the super macro on. Now, when I check on the monitor, I'm seeing a little tiny piece of metal or something. Now, is that supposed to be there, and I just never noticed it before? Because you cannot see this with the naked eye. It seems to be coming off. I don't think that's supposed to be there. I can't imagine what that could possibly be on a weather vane. Let's see if I can't just break it off here. Okay, now it's down around the other side. Okay, have I got it now? No. I wonder, should I maybe try and file it with the fines, the fine sanding stick? Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to bump you. Okay, I'm just going to have to pause here and fix this problem. Now, this is really strange. I've been working on it for a couple of minutes here, bending it back and forth, and I would have thought that metal fatigue would have, but I'm wondering now, is it maybe a little hair? Well, whatever it is, it's gone now. Now, I am not going to try to rotate this around so that you can see both sides. But you can assume that gotta get more on my brush. That's better. That's too much. Okay. Yeah, you can be assured that the other side is painted equally as too much as this side is. Maybe just for the fun of it, I should get the hairdryer going and do the time-lapse thing, and we can watch that shrink. How about that? Let's see if that'll work. I don't think I've ever done the time-lapse with the super macro. No, there is the possibility that the air from the heat gun is going to shake everything, but we'll give it a try. I was noticing in the monitor how dark everything is there. I'm hoping that when I get to the computer I can lighten everything up. That has probably shrunk as much as it's going to shrink. Undoubtedly the paint will be a little bit soft, but I think it's shrunk as much as it's going to go. A moment ago I was looking at this and I was thinking, okay, we're all done with this piece now. And then I realized, no, I want to paint this part right here, the deck tan, because I do believe that this was wood. Now, it's possible that on the real ship, they actually did, paint it the gray to sort of camouflage it so it didn't, glint in the sunlight, if you know what I mean. But on the other hand, maybe they didn't, and on our ship, we're not going to, because, I want it to contrast. I want there to be some of the details like this to really show up nicely. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I want to show you something on this that I want to make sure that I don't paint. Okay, you can see here now where this brace comes up at an angle, and it sort of has this little bracket that goes around. I don't want to paint that. Now, looking in on it close, there's also these little brackets here. I don't know what they would be. Would that be rope? You know what? I think I'm just gonna paint those the deck tan, and be very careful. When I work my way up to this part here, not to get the deck tan on this. Now, I guess if worst comes to worst, and I can maybe paint this number. This is the number 22 gray. I could always paint that over the deck tan. But yeah, as I mentioned before, the more you paint, the more you lose detail because you're building up layers of paint. And also, I don't want to touch our little lights here. Okay, so we just got the deck tan here, and I had just realized that I had had my camera set to overexpose a previous scene, and I forgot to set it back. So in all likelihood, some of the stuff that I just videoed is a little bit overexposed. What is that, mistake number 5? Okay. Now I don't need to worry about the underneath part. And this is not always going to be at the best angle for you, but I got to rotate it for me. Okay, I think we did pretty good there. Now, this one here, I'm going to come at it like this. I know there's people probably yelling at the screen, use your little brush, use your little brush. Well, for me, I find that something like this goes best if I use my big brush. Or, well, this is actually a very small brush, but okay. How are we doing there? I may be getting a little bit too much on the brush, but now once again, you can't see it too good. I'm sorry about that. Just go right up to that bracket and then pull back. All right, how are we doing here? And once again, I'm blocking it for you, I'm sorry. I'll just go underneath just a little bit, even though nobody's going to see under there. How's that look here? Maybe on the end. You know, I don't want it too good because then it's going to show up all the rest of the stuff that we've done over the last few months. Okay, now that's just the end here. Gotta angle it. Okay, is there anywhere that it looks like I missed? Or maybe it looks a little bit sparse. There's some flashing or something right there. You can probably see that. That's, I don't know what that's all about, but it's just going to have to be there. Okay, I think we did pretty good. Okay, let's try not to improve on it and make it worse. Okay, I know this is a little bit off the subject, and we're sort of jumping right from painting to the ship case that we built several months ago now. And I'm glad that I built it when I did, because I probably wouldn't feel like doing it right now. On the other hand, maybe I would, I don't know. However, what happened was, yesterday evening I came across a YouTube video, and they showed a shot taken straight down of 3 200 scale model ships. I believe the Bismarck was one of them, but the other one was the Yamato and the Iowa. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, well, that's not right, because the Iowa was a little bit longer in length than the Yamato, and I always thought the Yamato was the biggest battleship that ever was, and it was, but it wasn't the longest. Anyway, that got me interested in the Iowa, which apparently, in fact, I imagine it still is, because I watched a walkthrough of the Iowa, and it was quite well done. It was in 4K. It was nice and sharp. It lasted about 20 minutes or so, and the guy, he took a camera and he just walked around, and it was quite professionally done. I couldn't have done it better myself, actually. And boy, that didn't sound good, did it? Anyway, yeah, so I got interested in the Iowa, and then I thought, you know, I don't think it would fit in my case. Now, now I haven't measured this since I built it, so I can't remember how wide how long the inside is. Okay, so the inside is I'll try and do it in millimeters, because that's the way Trumpeter describes their ships. Okay, the maximum of the inside is 1,360 millimeters. If I measured that right. I don't know, it's 1,360. I think that I think that Iowa kit, the 200 scale kit, is longer than that. So now the outside, I've got an extra inch and a half. I'm going from millimeters to inches. So the outside, if I was to put a piece of glass on the outside, is 1,000, just under 1,400 millimeters. So I'm thinking if I wanted to have a longer ship in here, as well as the Rodney, which we haven't even started yet, and here I'm, excuse me, I'm talking about, getting another kit maybe. I'm thinking about it. I got kind of interested last night. So I was thinking I could always cut a hole so that the stern could sort of stick out a little bit, and it would there would be a piece of glass on the outside. It's just a thought. I'm wasting time, aren't I? You know what, folks? Thanks for watching, and all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.